Welcome to the Markets Happy Hour podcast, a weekly markets update for investors the world over. Each week we discuss inflation, geopolitics, interest rates, equity markets, and other asset classes. To try to answer the question, what does this mean for my investment portfolio? Let's dive in.
And I think that is the point here, is like, how do we translate this into actionable advice for our clients, and how do we think that they are really digesting all of what's going on in markets? So the very first point, which clearly is something we all feel in our bones every day or every time we make a trip to the grocery store, is inflation. And the trend that I've been noting in terms of inflation, and it's on the chart behind here, is that inflation has been coming down, but it has kind of stalled at this last mile. We obviously did have the pressure at the gas pump I mentioned around the Strait of Hormuz, that being closed, and that was also trickling into fertilizer prices, to food prices, importantly. But one of the linchpins of inflation seems to have been that this the service price has still been pretty stubborn and hasn't been moving down. And then when we think about the individual client's experience, how have you been speaking with your clients about this? Because as the chart here shows, wages haven't really kept up. So the client may be feeling the pinch and when they go to the store, when they fill up their car, but equally they're not getting that uplift in their salaries. What are your clients telling you?
Yeah, it feels like a just dichotomy, juxtaposition of emotions, right? The markets are at all-time highs. You're being told everything's great. It feels great. At the same time, in real life, as you said, you're going to the gas pumps, you're going to the grocery store, and you're left with this whole other different feeling. So those contrasting emotions, I think, can be difficult, especially when those clients come in and want to know how things are going. And they're calling in talking about, or coming to meetings saying, my car insurance just went up a lot, my house insurance, my property tax. So we're not just seeing this in, going to the grocery stores, as you mentioned, and beyond the oil pump. It's all those other things that maybe we aren't faced with day to day, but when they hit big. Like medical insurance too is another big one. We keep seeing that increase so much year over year. It goes directly to the bottom line.
Exactly. And obviously we've been looking at this top line figure, the Fed target of around 2%. We've seen inflation kind of hover closer to that 3% level. Would you say your clients' individual inflation that they're experiencing is higher than that 3%?
I think so. And, there's a lot more talk about when is it going to come down? When is this going to stop? So I think, again, you flow into so much of what we do is emotional, not just the technical. And of course, all the charts and everything are so important, but it's the emotional side of things. So that hanging on to, we thought this was supposed to end already. We were told that the rate of inflation would be coming down. Iran's here now. What's next? What can we handle next?
Right. And that, of course, is that emotional load, which probably gets to sentiment as well. I've been noting in these podcasts that consumer sentiment has been at an all-time low. And a lot of sentiment is driven by, I suppose, the expectation of what's coming next. As you mentioned, what is next? In some cases, that manifests in clients bringing forward expenditure, say buying that car now and not waiting for a year, or doing the renovation now because they don't want to think it'll be more expensive next year. Or it means that they may... Do they think things will be more expensive going forward? Or are they trying to put money away for that rainy day because they're concerned? How do you see the behavior manifesting?
It's different depending on the situation. So I think as we talked, or we'll talk about, mortgages and homes, if you downsize with the way rates are today versus what they might have locked in years ago, they're actually going to be paying the same or more for a smaller home or a smaller place to live. So you're not saving there. But when you think about maybe vehicles, they may think vehicles, the cost of those are only going up. I should go ahead and not only bite the bullet now, but maybe with the interest rates lower on vehicles, go ahead and buy that now and not wait. So I think it really depends on what area of life we're moving forward in.
But it's clear that there is definitely a mixed experience across the board.